We are live.
Okay, thank you, Waka. We're here tonight for the Title VI Indian Education Public Forum. It is April 15, 2021. And before we begin, I would like to ask Cheryl Sherman to do the land acknowledgement.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to take a moment to recognize that we are on Dena'ina land or Dena'ina land. They have lived, hunted, and gathered within the Cook Inlet region for thousands of years. We thank them for their stewardship of the land, air, and water, and all the life that sustains us within their traditional lands. And we will strive to be good neighbors. Chinan.
Thank you. So this is a public forum and a disclaimer that it is recorded. Many of our panelists are able to speak or message, I believe. If there's good pausing point, you can go ahead and ask it because we do have our Native Advisory Committee members on board. So thank you for being here. Our presenters and hosts tonight are Senior Director Doreen Brown of Title VI Indian Education and Migrant Education, myself, Crystalline Scott, Indian Education Supervisor, Cheryl Sherman, Cultural Enrichment Specialist, and Julianne Bourdon, our Administrative Assistant for Title VI. And of course, we have our IT team. Thank you so much for assisting us in our public forum. The purpose of the public forum is for the community to give us comments and recommendations for our program. Routinely throughout the presentation, you will see the public forum link and questions that you can give us feedback through. And I can also point you to the Title VI website on the asdk12.org, which has the link as well. We will be accepting comments and feedback to the end of April, that is April 30th. And from there on, we will go ahead and compile all of the feedback in order to submit the grant that is due on May 14 for the next school year. The agenda will be as follows. We'll go through the purpose of the Indian Education Program, information about our current program and how we've adapted to COVID. We will talk about the program plan process for your understanding and share student data. Finally, we'll have our formal requests for public input and avenues that you can offer your comments. Our program funding sources stem from the Office of Indian Education. This present school year, our budget was near $2.7 million. 98% of our budget goes to personnel who directly support our students. We also have the Anchorage School District Native Education funding in the amount of $650,000 directly from Anchorage School District. Title VI works towards three specific goals: academic achievement of our Alaska Native and American Indian students, support of professional development and cultural responsiveness, and cultural enrichment. We have nearly 8,000 students identified as primary, secondary, or tertiary identification of Alaska Native and American Indian status. Over 6,000 of our students are enrolled in our program. So I will talk about eligibility. The eligibility is completed through a form that we call the 506 eligibility form directly from the Office of Indian Education. Why do we collect these forms? These forms help generate funds so we can provide our supplemental services to Native children. It is a federal form that certifies students' eligibility for the Indian Education Program. If the student, his or her parent or guardian, grandparent is an enrolled member of an American Indian tribe or Alaska Native group, they may be eligible to be enrolled in the Title VI Indian Education Program. These forms must be signed, and the issuance ensures that the government is providing quality education for Native students as required by tribal treaties. Every form increases our funding for the program and helps all of our Native students get academic support and cultural opportunities. This form...
Crystalline, I'm going to interrupt just for a second. I need two panelists to be moved over, Brian McIntyre and Tanya. And she's listed as Shanar at Canarr. Can that be done, Robert?
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So Brian and Tanya, if I go ahead and stop, or if I get a text to, if you have a question, then you can go ahead and openly ask, since you are the Native Advisory Committee. But we are in public forum mode. So thank you for pausing that and allowing them in. So speaking of the Native Advisory Committee, parents are a huge part of our child's education and a big part of the Title VI program. So we do have a Native Advisory Committee composed of 6 parents and guardians of Alaska Native American Indian children, 3 Alaska Native American Indian secondary students, and 2 teachers that are employed by the Anchorage School District. They could also be guidance counselors. Elections are coming up. The application period was closed on Monday, April 12th, and we will have elections on May 6th. We also work closely with our partners, and we'll continue to reach out to partner and collaborate with the tribes whose land we reside on or is within 50 miles of our district's boundaries. We also collaborate with the following partners as well as more. The Alaska Native Heritage Center, the UPIC Dual Language Immersion Program, the Alaska Native Cultural Charter School, the University of Alaska Anchorage Native Student Services. Collectively, between the Title VI funding of about, I think we have 46 people. We have a talented staff at 37 school sites. This is all ranging from K through 12 support. Our team also works collectively and collaboratively with our school staff. So for this next section, I will highlight our Title VI work accomplished for our students. As we go along, I want you to think about how we can assist our Native students with sustaining connections to their cultural identity through their own traditional and spiritual beliefs, customs, and languages. So there is the link for public comment. It's also found on our website. You can think about these, what you would recommend as we go along. You may be looking at what we have offered, but also what may be and could be offered. So we do have a cultural enrichment specialist who helps guide and support our Title VI staff, creates cultural opportunities to students, leads the summer enrichment programs, and shares a lot of opportunities and program information to our families. We have professional development as well, and we are a resource for the Anchorage School District. Here are a few of many events that have been accomplished this year, and this was all in COVID mode as well. So we have Cheryl has put together a lot of exciting and interactive sessions, not just for students, but directly into their families' homes. So a lot of multi-age family activities, from carving to storytelling to learning about Indigenous tattoos, field trips, and reading. How we adapted to COVID was based on our needs of our students, the advice from the Native Advisory Committee, and also being good financial stewards of our grant funding. Highlights include our personalized virtual tutoring that we launched in the fall, our tech supply distributions, and our Indigenous ebook library that was started in December. ASD is a very large district with nearly 42,000 students. Geographically, our team members are placed around the Anchorage Bowl and in Eagle River. And to create a family-first model, we created streams of feeder schools teamed together to offer collective family supports across elementary, middle, and high schools as we adapted to the technological needs and direct family supports that we heard in the community. So, for example, there was a team down on the south side. They needed to get tech materials, but also some of the supplies that we were providing. They teamed up together and they did a home visit and would contact the families and wave and say hi as they were socially distancing and offering that service. So a lot of friendly faces in the neighborhood. Here are some photos of our team, our Title VI team staff, and some of the items that were brought to students' homes and for family pickup at the ASD Ed Center, but also at some of our schools. My favorite were the little desks for our K through 2. We had alarm clocks, calculators, headsets, keyboards, and another useful thing is the USB hubs, as well as surge protectors for families. Continuing into 2021, ASD Indian Education has launched more literacy initiatives, such as our Barnes & Noble book drive, as students return to school. Looking ahead, we are planning summer enrichment programs, and one thing I did not list on here is very important, is support of our credit recovery programs for high school students. Understanding what we do leads into what we can do. Through our community feedback, Title VI can generate supports based upon the input of our tribes, parents, teachers, and data. And we look forward to input of our community members. The Native Advisory Committee and multiple district entities will review and approve the proposed program before it is submitted to the federal government. NAC is set to vote and approve the grant on May 6, with submission due by May 14 of this year. Now, this is where we may have a lot more questions. This is data that has not been supplied or shared with NAC or our community this year, and this is going to be our updated evaluation of our student data. I'll talk about our data resources and the sources, maybe some of the limitations that we've had. You'll find and see our graduation rates, our dropout rates, attendance data, and testing data. So first of all, we want to clarify as well that we are using what we call the ARISE method, meaning that our data shared tonight includes and represents the diversity of our student ethnicities. That is our Alaska Native and American Indian students that have identified themselves as a primary, secondary, or tertiary identification. They are included in this data. This is a little bit different than what may be reported to state and federal entities because they may not use subgrouping as we do. Another limitation that you'll find and see is that we do not have state testing data from last year due to COVID. Okay, so here is updated data for the graduation 4-year cohort. The blue data in all of these presentations will represent our Alaska Native and American Indian students. The 5-year data includes analysis of students. Some people may consider this a little bit more accurate data, as an additional year may be necessary for some students to achieve graduation. This is one chart we do want to see decrease, and that is the dropout rate. Attendance rate collectively going up. And as we go into the next set of testing data, please consider the question for public feedback. How can we increase the number of above proficient Native students in reading, writing, and math? Due to the pandemic, State of Alaska Department of Education did not conduct the PEAKS assessment that we usually use for a summative analysis. So we had to get creative and adapt. So we used the MAP growth grades 4 through 8, Algebra 1 enrollment and grades, and AP course enrollment to review how our students have been doing in 2020. A lot of educators may be familiar with MAP growth data. MAP growth measures what students know and what they're ready to learn next. MAP growth data has been collected since 2016, but it wasn't until 2017 and 18 that the first year of data was reported to the public and utilized. Now, I did state that we are using grades 4 through 8, and that is because the grade 3 is the first measure year, so there is no measurement of grade 2 to 3. So we just cut off that grade 3 and started using the 4th grade data. One thing to note is the data increments and the intervals. So when you see the year 2017 to 2018, it is measuring fall to fall from the fall of 2017 to the fall of 2018. Overall, from grades 4 through 8th grade, here is a representation of Alaska Native American Indian students who have met their growth. This is not a percentage measure of proficiency. This is saying that, for example, 2017, 2018, 52.65% of our students have met their goal for growth in 1 year. Here is the overall MAP growth for our Alaska Native and American Indian students for math. So now the next slides will go by grade level. There is a lot of data, and these slides will be provided on our website for your review and emailed to the NAC board. I will move kind of slowly through this. I'm not going to talk to them. The data speaks. But if you do have a question or a comment in the Q&A, we may be able to answer it. Here is the MAP growth data for 4th grade math. Again, this is not a measure of proficiency. This is a measure of did the students achieve their projected growth. Here is grade 5 reading. And next will be grade 5 math. Students' brains develop, and they go into a next lily pad of phasing in grades 6, 7, and 8. So next we have our 6th grade reading map data. And this is grade 6 math. Okay, now up into 7th grade reading. And then 7th grade math for goals. Here is, 8th grade reading. And 8th grade math. Now, I will note as a statistician person, that looks like a drastic drop, but please note the scale on the left-hand side. If it was 0 to 54, it wouldn't look like it was dipping down that much. Another measure that we decided to utilize was the assessment of what is happening to our high school students' proficiency in math. And to do that, we requested the data for Algebra 1 passing grades starting in middle school, which would be for Algebra 1 8th grade. That would be a 1-year advanced level because 9th grade Algebra 1 is the grade level band. So looking at the percentages of passing grades, that's a D or higher, you can see the percentages here of 8th graders and 9th graders. Beyond 8th grade and 9th grade, students are only MAP tested if they are identified in an MTSS level, I believe tier 2 and 3 for MAP testing. So MAP testing was not an option for us to pull as a good measure of high school evaluation. We do have different grade reports of F data that we've talked about before, but the next slide will go and take a look at the advanced placement enrollment for grades 9 through 12. What you see here is the percentage of students that are enrolled in AP courses as a freshman status. So one thing to note, though, before I go into more percentages, is that you have to understand that the percentages are data groups compared to themselves. For example, there was a total of 654 Alaska Native and American Indian students enrolled in 11th grade in 2018. 94 were enrolled in an AP course. So that would be like a 14% enrollment percentage. In the same comparison, there were 3,100 all non-Native students enrolled in 11th grade AP courses. but 863 were AP enrolled, so they had a respective percentage of 27%. So these are percentages upon themselves in their respective groups, which is different than of the whole.
Chrislyn, can you go back and say that one more time, the percentages for Alaska Native, American Indian, and then compared to non-Native? Sorry.
Okay, so taking a look at this particular data set, and I don't have my actual data numbers on here. Let's take a look at the blue line, which is our Alaska Native American Indian students. What it's saying is if we had, like 200 students overall as a freshman class, 200 were Alaska Native that were in ASD, we would take the count enrolled in AP courses and divide it by the total count of all students enrolled in that level. So, so there's kind of two different pockets, and I will go to the 11th grade percentage. So, because I have those clear numbers for you, so you can see what is happening. We get more involvement in 10th grade. And here is the 11th grade numbers that I can give you examples of. So in 2018, we had 654 Alaska Native students all across the district in 11th grade, 654. Out of those 654 Alaska Native students in the district, 94 of them were enrolled in an AP course. So that means that there were 14.37% enrolled in AP courses at that time. Similarly, if I hop up to the orange line, which is going to be all the other non-Native students in the district, the other students in 11th grade at the time were 3,100 students. Out of the 3,100 students, 863 were enrolled in AP courses, which amounts to 27%. So we are taking current counts of the separate populations of demographics and taking a look at their respective percentages. This type of evaluation is very common in disparity studies. And then let's go to the senior year for AP place course enrollment. Can I stop and pause and ask if there is any questions about the data? Okay. So again, taking a look at the data that we've seen, we did not supply any K through 2 information. One question we have is how do we increase these numbers to improve proficiency in reading, writing, and math? So again, public comment, welcome at our forum or our input on our website and below. Okay, so Indian Ed is not just operating at the school site level, but we have a lot of engagement and participation in district-wide curriculum. And so we'll go ahead and talk about the support and the sponsorship that we've had in developing culturally relevant and Indigenous curriculum. The first has happened this year, and that was our sponsorship to complete the middle school Indigenous Native Games curriculum. And this project was led by Melanie Sutton, our health and PE coordinator for the district. Every single middle school will have 3 different Indigenous Native Games kits to celebrate the games, and high schools as well. But the middle school curriculum will actually have the materials and the guidebook and the lesson plans in Canvas for all PE teachers at the middle school level to train and educate our students, non-native or not. It will be part of the curriculum. And that is set to launch next fall. The 3rd grade Nest Egg Social Studies curriculum has completed its pilot for the year. This multi-year project of the Anchorage School District developed curriculum will be set to launch next year. Doreen, did you want to make any more comments about the Nest Egg?
Labor of love, and thank you NAC members for assisting with this, and look forward to the launch, which is going to be taking place on June 7th. So invites will be worked on tomorrow and getting in the mail soon. So save the date. We've had a lot of great feedback. There's a couple changes that we need to make, but our students are really involved and engaged in the curriculum, and super pleased with it. Really, everyone should be really proud of themselves for all the work that you did. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's a neat note to say that because this is a district-wide curriculum, our Alaska Native heritage and all of the materials are going to be translated in multiple languages because of the teacher guides and the student readers that will also be provided in immersion schools. So it's going across language groups, so it's very neat. Speaking of immersion, the UPIC Immersion program has received another multi-year extension to be able to open up grades to another level, to grade 3. So we celebrate with them. And this is a video. I won't play it on a Zoom, but we'll have it provided on the link about the UPIC language pipeline. And the last question that we have for our public forum is what suggestions we have to increase parents and family engagement in assisting with school readiness, enhancing academic achievement, and increasing cultural knowledge and student leadership. So a lot of our communities are looking and reaching out for engagement. I know at the UPIC Immersion program, there is a new parent group that will be looking into the best strategies that we can utilize to help understanding of what immersion means and how important it is. So there's a lot of great ideas and a lot of upcoming projects in our community. So we would love to hear from community members. This public input process will be ending on April 30th, allowing us to collect information and piece it together and evaluate from our tribal consultation coming up, from continued dialogue with our NAC members, and our public input process. You can find a lot more information on our website on the Anchorage School District, asdk12.org. So thank you so much for your time and participation in the Title VI Public Forum. I can now ask, does anybody have any questions about the data? Any dialogue that you may want to have for considerations now that you've seen it? So that concludes my presentation of what Title VI has completed this year and what we are hoping to continue on. Okay, well, without any questions in the Q&A pane, we'll go ahead and we can conclude the public forum recording. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share as well.
All right, and we have the recording stopped and should be all ready to go for the NAC meeting next.
Okay, thank you. So we do have the space now, NAC, to talk about sharing out those links. You're able to share and gain any comments from community members, people that you work with, students sharing information as well. We want to collect as much feedback as possible. So since we don't have any other dialogue, I think we're okay to end the public forum, Doreen, or do you think that we should move on to the NAC? I know that we did mark it 7 to 8. So I do need your guidance on the next steps.
That's 30 minutes away, so it's actually up to the group. We'll post it. So if you'd like to go and have the NAC meeting now, you can do a thumbs up. If you don't, and you want to wait till 7 o'clock, you can do a thumbs down. If I can see everyone, Shanda and Jocelyn, Megan.
Do we have enough for a quorum to start it?
Mm-hmm. Okay. You do have enough.
Angela's beating, so I'll put her thumb up.
Okay.
Is she beating her cap?
Yeah, she is.
Great.
Oh,
Megan and Jocelyn, are you? Yes, you said yes. Megan, sorry. I think that you can see my eyes looking right at you, every one of you. So, okay. And then Shanda, are you still there? I'll text
I am.
her.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So we can proceed with the NAC meeting.
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and share the agenda.
Do you want to begin recording?
Do we have to notify the district again?
Yeah. Are you going to record?
We don't usually record the NAC meetings. We do stream directly to Facebook, though. Or not Facebook, YouTube.
YouTube. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. And we did do a land acknowledgement, so thank you, Cheryl. We could go ahead and do introductions since we are streaming on YouTube. So Chairwoman Kimberly, would you begin, please?
Thank you. Hello, I'm Kazakwa or Kimberly Santagata. I'm a Nubiat. We have 3 girls currently attending Polaris K-12 school and 1 in Coconut Native Head Start that will be at Polaris next fall. And so we're very much appreciative of this group and all the work that has been done.
Ayayayak. Shannon?
Wanga Ayayarak, I'm Shannon Hawkins, parent guardian for a senior at service, and I am a graduate from Anchorage School District at Service High School as well. Deborah.
Tanya?
Sorry, yeah?
Oh, would you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Jannah. I'm from Nelson Island, Tooksik Bay, and my son is in 7th grade, and I have a senior that graduated and got to wear her regalia, which is like pretty awesome. And so yeah, I'll keep it short. Have the dogs in the background, so.
I'm Shanda Losi. I'm Standing Rock, Lakota. I'm a parent. I have a 4th grader at Rogers Park in the highly gifted program. Thank you.
Megan?
Hi, I'm Megan Sherman. My Espo name is Igona. My family is from Kotzebue. I have 3 children in the Anchorage School District, 2 children at Bowman Elementary, and a child at Hampshire Middle School.
Jocelyn?
Hi, I'm Jocelyn Remy. I am also a parent member. I have 3 kids. One is in 9th grade at Highland Academy, and younger daughter is in 1st grade at the College Gate Elementary, and I have a pre-K student as well. He's 4, and we're trying to get him into Head Start. And I'm Yupik and Aleut from Bristol Bay. My children are also Inupiaq from Deering, and my Yupik name is Qivwal. We moved here from Dillingham a few years ago, like 3 years ago.
Rihanna, thank you.
Wanga Ashwana. Hi, my name is Angela Antelope Bordnelli. My family is from Nome, Wales, Little Diamond, and I'm a senior at Service High School.
Waka Skabak Sivalukti Unga. My name is Skabak Sivalukti. My English name is Nishay Time Andrew, and I am Yupik and a Nupak and a senior at Service High School as well.
Right, Elena doesn't look like she's here. Brian?
Hi, I'm Brian McIntyre. I'm a teacher at William Tyson Elementary School. I teach 4th and 5th grade this year. I'm also a proud parent of 2 Alaska Native students that have graduated from East High School, and one is going to be graduating in a month from Harvard. So thank you.
Wow, how exciting. Is Georgiana here? Nope. Ricky.
Diana. My name is Gulucha. The English name is Ricky. I teach music for Anchorage School District. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Doreen Brown. My Yupik name is Agafia. My mom's originally from Nepamute, which is by Antioch, which is upriver from Bethel, where the fish is really good. And my dad is from Cedarwood. I guess it's, I don't know what the word would be, but she was shipped out along with her brothers to go to school. So it was before Molly Hooch. So that's how they met, because my mom was 14 when she was shipped to go to Seattle to live with a family to continue her education because it wasn't offered in the village. Thank you.
Thank you. Waka winga aka nasisak mamdali khamiruno from Bethel. Dawamani Anchorage Ami. I don't have a Anchorage word in Yupik. I'm the supervisor for Indian education. I have a third grader, Uyakok. And I am Yupik, but I do have to share that a few years ago, I learned also that I am Athabascan. So I do need to go ahead and practice my introduction because I have family members that used to live and are from Stony River. So that is a background that I need to also delve into for learning all the time. I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Julianne Bourdon. I'm the AA for Title VI, and I come from our new remodeled office area. We have new cubicles, desks, and carpet and painted walls. Thank you to Miss Doreen Brown and Migrant Ed for their generous hearts for this. So if you get a chance to come to the Ed Center, please stop by and come see our new office area.
Thank you for your hard work on that too, Julianne. She had a big key role into moving all our cultural stuff around and our library. Whew.
Yes, and big kudos to Tricia, the AA for Migrant Ed, for her diligent work.
Yeah. Cheryl.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cheryl Sherman. I am the Cultural Enrichment Specialist for Title VI. I am Athabascan from the Copper River area. I have 5 students currently enrolled in ASD. I am also an ASD alumni from kindergarten all the way through. And I've been with the district for about 3.5 years.
Great, thanks. Okay, here's the agenda, and I will mute myself. So here you go, Kimberly.
I entertain somebody to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Well, it's Ricky. I'm wondering, can I make a motion to approve the agenda with flexibility because I have an agenda item for later?
I'm sorry, but can we call the meeting to order and then do a roll call first, please?
I withdraw.
Point of clarification, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We will call the Thursday, April 15th, 2021 Native Advisory Committee to order at 6:48. Julianne, can you do roll call?
Yes, I can. Shannon?
Here.
Tanya?
Here. Here.
Amanda?
Here.
Kimberly?
Here.
Megan?
Here.
Jocelyn?
Here.
Angela?
Here.
Nishay?
Here.
Elena? Brian?
I'm here.
Ricky?
Here.
And Georgina. We have 10 total here.
So we have a quorum.
Yes.
Now can I entertain a motion to approve the agenda?
This is Ricky. I officially move to approve the agenda. Thank you.
This is Tanya. I second that.
And I believe there's some discussion. Ricky, didn't you want to discuss adding something to the agenda?
Oh, I'll put it in general comments. Thank you.
Okay. If there's no other discussion, I will call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposition? We will approve the agenda. May I entertain an approval of the minutes for the March 18th, 2021 NAC meeting?
Shannon makes a motion to approve the meeting minutes for March 18, 21.
Brian will second that.
So we have a motion to approve the minutes of the March 18th, 2021 meeting. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we will call for a vote. All those in approval of the minutes?
Aye.
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 Any opposition? Minutes are approved. We will move on to graduation regalia, update of the resolution, and I'll turn it over to Nishay.
Hello. Do I have, in order to share the resolution? Okay. Just 1 second here. All right. So I believe that you can all see that. So today I'll be going over the changes that was made on this resolution based on the comments made from the March meeting as well as the subcommittee meeting. So the first area of change that I'd like to draw attention to, just 1 second. I need to stop sharing my screen. I don't have the correct one. My apologies. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. And okay, so the first point that I would like to draw attention to is, let me scroll up a little bit. The first change that was made was this line right here, where we defined what tribal means to prevent confusion. And this ties in with the change corresponding, where we explained the importance of regalia for the tribal identities, which were specified in the previous update, and to explain its importance for Indigenous people and how it's used during momentous celebrations. The next change is the first, be it further resolved, where it explains how the process of tribal headwear approval is to be made, which goes along with the second change in the section, which specifies that the decision of tribal headwear be given to the appropriate staff of the Title VI Indian Education Department solely, since it's the most appropriate department to be determining this situation. And the last change is the very last line, where I generalized the Anchorage school board members and superintendent as to avoid confusion, since we are in the midst of a current election, should there be any personnel changes at the time of this approval. So all the rest of the items have remained the same, and it was sent out in the email. So if there are any comments or questions on any piece, I would like to open up the floor for discussion so that I may answer any questions or take any suggestions. Okay. I see some people unmuting and muting, so go ahead.
I feel like this is ready to go. We approve, make a motion. I make a motion to approve the resolution and for graduation regalia that Nishay is sharing.
This is Tanya, and I second that.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Point of clarification. Point of clarification. We have to see if there's discussion.
We have the what?
We have to see if there's discussion. Oh, before we say aye. So is there any discussion on the content in this resolution? Seeing as there's no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, and may I invite Crystalline to explain the next steps for this resolution to go through the process of being passed with the Anchorage School Board?
Well, probably ask for it to be in a PDF. It would be nice. I don't know if we need a signature of both Chairperson Kimberly and Vice Chairperson Shay to make it official with the date of adoption. So maybe we can put that through in a Panda Docs for e-signature. And then I will send it up the chain, starting with Senior Director Doreen Brown, to most likely take it up the chain again to the superintendent and the school board.
Okay, I would just like to point out, I was looking through my emails and I found that 2 years ago on this day was when the original graduation regalia was officially passed. So it's like a 2-year anniversary with a little upgrade. So thank you all for your help in this endeavor. It was very important for me, and I appreciate all the help and all the perspective that the Native Advisory Committee gave to me.
Note down, good job. It's going to be amazing. So thank you. Good work, everyone.
I don't have a copy of the agenda with me because I ended up being on my phone, so I'm not sure what's next.
I am sharing it right now for everyone to see. Okay. The next bullet item is the Native Advisory Committee election bylaws. So I wanted to remind NAC that in November, on the 20th meeting, I believe, the 20th of November, NAC voted and moved and accepted an extension of all of the position terms to be extended by a year, with the intent of modifying it back to its original form. And so that is just a reminder to NAC. I cannot move or suggest, I can support.
So can I, as the chair, entertain that somebody put in a motion to revert our bylaws back to what they said before the last revision?
I make a motion to re-amend the bylaws previous to the academic year 2020-2021.
I do have a point of personal privilege to maybe have the screen shared so we could see it because I left my binder at school. Could we see the form that we are voting it back to?
Yes, let me change the color in red so the board can see what was changed.
Juliana.
Angela seconds the motion. Now it's up for discussion.
Okay.
So point of clarification, we're voting in to change what's in red to be 1 year less. So it would read, parent and teacher members will serve 2-year terms and students members will serve 1-year terms. Is that right? Thank you.
So we had a motion. Do we have a second?
Angela seconds.
Is there any discussion on the motion to make the changes, the revisions back to a 2-year term for parents and teachers and a 1-year term for students?
This is Ricky. I want to speak in favor of this motion because I think we've all been waiting in anticipation for this moment. At least I have been. I've been part of NAC for the past 4 years. And it's just really exciting to see how our community is changing for the good. Before, when we had changed all this, we were all at home. Only the stores were open. So it's really cool to see where we have come from since this language has changed and now we're changing it back. It feels like there's so much hope. Thank you.
Any other discussion? I'll call the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? So we have motioned and approved to change the bylaws back to parent teacher members will serve 2-year terms and students members will serve 1-year terms back to what it was pre-COVID. And then I believe the next item was the grant.
Yes, so we'll go ahead and update you with the status of the grant and the financial report. We are nearing the grant closeout, so we have and are on track to offer as many services as possible to our students. We will have, again, an updated financial report for the next meeting. We have upcoming things, including a secondary Barnes & Noble book launch, book drive for any Indian Ed student in grades or in middle school and high school. They can choose up to 3 books from Barnes & Noble, so we're excited about that. We also have a lot of library books we are purchasing, including Indigenous books to every library and ASD for to be set through the summer. So we're excited about that. And then also we have a scholarship workshop that is upcoming that we'll be announcing for Storywork. So seniors after graduation, once you're done celebrating, having a workshop just to really nail that scholarship essay. That's the best gift, I think, after graduation we can give you. So just keep your emails open, ready for more news from ASD Indian Education. But so far we are doing pretty good with our spending, and we will definitely look forward to next year's grant as well. So an update is we were very concerned due to enrollment, and we had brought forward our concerns to the NAC as well, that we, due to low enrollment, that we wouldn't be getting near as much funding as we really should be based on student count. Well, Doreen was able to advocate to the Office of Indian Education with a positive response. They accepted and listened to the recommendations from our district that we should be using data from previous years because enrollment's down due to COVID. And so they said, yep, okay. So we had submitted with a student count of 6,423, but Office of Indian Ed used the figure of 7,306. And so we have a projected grant for next year of $2.6 million, but that is not confirmed until we get the grant approved. We follow all the steps. We do all of our reporting correctly with fidelity, and then we hopefully will get our grant award in July for the next year. So that is very good news, because if we were to base our numbers on our actual enrollment, we would have been looking at literally a $600,000 shortfall, which would have been equivalent to 10 staff members. And so we are very grateful for Senior Director Doreen Brown and her advocacy and amplifying that not just for our Title VI program, but for every Title VI program in the nation for Indian countries. So Hoyana, Doreen. So next up then is our grant will be submitted on May 14. So the next time we meet on May 6 with the elections, we'll have the grant for your approval, NAC. So we definitely need a quorum. And by then we'll have more details of the actual figures and values. We have our tribal consultation next Thursday afternoon, April 22nd. It is a closed meeting it's for ASD and the tribes and whoever the tribal entities are sending as representation of their tribes. So that will not be shared in an open meeting forum. And then we'll be looking forward to our public feedback. Elections applications were closed. You will be getting, if you applied for a seat, you will be getting a call from our office next week. And I think that may be the update for our grant and the ending of the grant. So I'll open it up to any questions. Okay. If you have any questions, make sure to give us a call. And I will go back to the agenda then for your review.
So now we're at general comments, questions from the public with a 2-minute limit. And I believe Ricky had something to say.
Juliana, I will take up the whole 2 minutes because I have 5 things. First, I want to recognize one of our own, and I know I did over email. So first and foremost, Nishay. Thank you so much for working with us, Nishay. And I wish I had the chat box here. I put the link in there. But ASD has you on our website for the Yale Bassett Award, the only Alaskan and the first ASD, right? congratulations, first Alaskan and first ASD student to win this award. And I know that she was also at the U.S. Senate Youth Program. Nisha, you were previously recognized in another NAC meeting regarding that experience. But then I also saw this pop up on the ASD website about the Yale Bassett Award. So congratulations, Nisha. We're super proud of you. You're such an inspiration for us. You're even inspiring adults. So thank you for all the work that you do. It doesn't go unrecognized. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
And let's see here. I bookmarked these so I don't forget what they are. May 5th, easy day to remember for me because it's also Cinco de Mayo. It's the day to remember our missing and murdered Indigenous women. So that's coming up in May. It snuck up on me. It's April already. So just keeping that in mind. Also, I'm holding the teachers union's feet to the fire for something that passed 2 years ago. For the Alaska Federation of Natives, not specifically the Elders and Youth Conference, however, specifically the actual AFN event, because I know that there's some resolutions that go on there. And I really want the teachers union to have a presence there so they could take those same issues and see if they align with any of our issues at our annual delegate assembly, which happens every Martin Luther King Jr. Day weekend in January. So aligning our issues will make a stronger front for their resolution. So I'm going to hold the union's feet to the fire about that because we have passed already when I made the motion 2 years ago to send a union board member and also a union member from the general ASD that has not attended AFN before. And they'll be able to use union leave for those 2 days. Whenever it's hosted here in Anchorage, I know it's hosted sometimes in Fairbanks, but whenever it's local, that means there's no per diem involved. We don't need a hotel room. So it's also cost effective on the union end. So I'm going to hold their feet to the fire. And also I'm embarking on something on my own for fun called Educators Rising, formerly Future Educators of Alaska. It has been since given to the national version, Ed Rising. And I'm a teacher leader. There's a few of us here in the district. I know of one at Bartlett, and there's another one on the peninsula. I'm trying to connect with them to see how I could mentor our middle and high schoolers who are interested in working at schools. And I had my first speech at Winterberry this morning, and I got 1. It starts with 1, guys. I'm really excited. I went over the main types of certifications, everything from teaching to even a type M, which is a tradesperson working in the school that is an expert at their craft who are working toward their teaching degree. So I covered that just this morning. And the last thing I'd like to visit with you about is planning an annual Indigenous educator event. And I'd like to do with a theme and a keynote. And I want to try to kind of look forward into the fall because the Teachers Union has a fall event that usually occurs at the Hotel Captain Cook with professional development. And this year they're going to try it in person. We're going to see how the cases go. And the theme is racial and social justice and anti-racism. So I'm going to try and play off of that theme, and I'll collaborate with you, Doreen and Crystalline, to see if we could get that going again. Because the last time we had it 2 years ago, had an excellent response from our Indigenous staff here at the district, and I want to continue doing it. Thank you. That's all the 5 things that I had. Sorry, probably more than 2 minutes, huh? So sorry, but go ahead.
Ricky, I just want to invite you to work with our interns, our summer interns. We'll be hiring students again this year. So I think they may have an interest in going into education. So let's, if you're going to be around this summer, we want to do some extra training with our interns. So we would love for you to come and give us more information about the work that you're doing and how they can get involved.
Thank you. I'm not alone. I'm with Winter Marshall Allen from the Peninsula. She's also an Ed Diversity Collective member with me. That's part of the National Education Association team whose strategies, their actual They're really like making us do this. Like I thought we'd sit and listen, but they said, nope, you gotta get out there and do your presentations to these future educators starting now. So I did. And then Crystalline was also part of that first panel. Thank you, Crystalline.
Are there any other comments? I know I had at least one, I can't remember which award it was that Nashe won, but she not only was the first Alaskan, but the first Indigenous person to win the award that her mom put on Facebook recently. Nashe, could you tell us more?
Oh, thank you. Yes, so I won the Princeton Prize in Race Relations as well. And I am the first one from Alaska within the at-large region and the first Indigenous person to receive the award.
I know we are pretty proud about everything you've done and all the work you've done, and to see the fruition of the regalia and how it is now allowed.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys encouraging me and supporting me.
Are there any other comments? Hearing none, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn our NAC meeting of April 15th, 2021.
Angela makes a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second. This is Shanda.
Since we have a motion, is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Any opposition? So I will call to adjournment the April 15th, 2021 NAC meeting at 7:17 p.m. Could we please stop the YouTube?